Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dropped Frames. I'm JP McDaniel, joined by the other host, CohhCarnage and Ezekiel III, and our special guest this week is none other than Cobalt Streak. Cobalt, why don't you do us a favor? Let everyone know who you are, for those that don't know who you are, and tell us a little bit about your channel, man.
Hola, my name is Cobalt Streak, and I have been streaming for about, a little over 2.5 years on Twitch. I am primarily known for playing The Binding of Isaac, which I'm pretty obsessed with. I play it a lot, do kill streaks, used to do speedruns in the first game. I also stream a lot of other indie titles, but really just anything in general that I like. I try to bring to my channel, my audience. And I don't know, and I go to all the PAX events, and I know lots of awesome people on Twitch, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me to come out and do this.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here. We're glad that someone's bringing the beard back. Zeke fucked up and shaved. Sorry, we're on Co's channel. Zeke messed up and shaved his. And now you brought it back.
I just really tried to push it out. I overdid it. So yeah. I apologize if it's hard to understand me through all this glory.
Yeah, it's true. It is pretty glorious. It is pretty glorious.
I can't lie. I can't. I just can't.
There's the little baby beard.
I'm really trying to push it out as fast as I can. But
faster, Zeke.
I know. I've got the someone's made this comparison with me before. I've got the bad guy from Kindergarten Cop look kind of going.
Yeah, a little bit. Might be true. Housekeeping stuff before we get started with the show. I do not believe we're going to have a show next week because of travel, and of course PAX East is next week, where we are going to have a panel. So I guess maybe that will just that's our show for next week, is on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern in the Albatross Theater. I do believe that will be streamed over at twitch.tv/PAX or /Twitch. Once I know more information, I'll tweet it out. I'm sure all of our channels will be hosting it, so if you're in one of our channels, you'll be watching live. And if you're going to be at PAX East, please attend.
Please go.
We have like 1,200 plus seats that have to be filled, or else we're gonna look really dumb in front of a bunch of people.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We got one. We got one per
down.
day. One per day. One down.
199 to go.
Yeah. I hope people show. I'm very nervous about also people that have no idea what the show is, because the panel information on the website is kind of like, come learn from 3 streamers what streaming is like. And I don't know if the panel's really going to match that. It's probably just going to be us talking about like PAX, and we'll take a bunch of questions. I think will be the main focus of so come with questions. Come with good questions, because we're going to be taking a lot of questions. That's the other thing that you have to do. But yeah, I just hope people are in the audience and they're just like, they know what the show is, because otherwise we're just going to look like a bunch of idiots, which is, I guess, pretty normal. But anyways, next Sunday, whatever day that is, the 8th, the 7th, something like that. What? 8th, the 8th. That's what it is. 4:30 p.m. Eastern in the Albatross Theater.
I'm a streamer, man. I don't know what dates.
I don't either, man. Dates are bullshit. They're just a thing of the past.
It's all just
two things I don't do: dates and math.
Yep.
No.
On stream, they're barred from stream. I'm glad you agree to that. Let's talk about what we've been streaming, guys, and we're gonna start with Zeke and Cobalt, because I want to know how the Battle Royale went on Saturday. I didn't get a chance to tune in because we were doing the West Marches. How did it go?
Well, it's difficult. I didn't realize exactly how difficult it would be to get into the same Battle Royale with somebody at the same time. You know, it kind of dissolved into like we were just kind of talking while one of us got in and played a game, and then it was like, I think out of how many matches do you think we got in there? Like,
oh man, and how many hours? Like 4 hours?
Yeah.
I think we were in 3 or 4 games together, and we were probably alive and near each other twice for about 2 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And then one of us would get shottied by somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we probably played on our own, maybe 5 to 10, I would say. That's being generous. So
yeah, totally. So like,
it was a blast, though. I mean.
Oh, totally. Yeah, just having someone there to like chat with while you're waiting in the queue, or trying to get into a game and stuff like that, or making a name on each server that you need and that kind of thing. But that's what made it bearable for me, was that I had actually someone to like fucking chat with, because there's a lot of downtime. I had no idea how much.
There's a good amount of downtime, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But,
really interesting. My main problem with H1Z1 in general right now when doing BRs is not having that anything going on between the rounds. When I watched you guys, it was thoroughly entertaining because even when it was down, you guys would keep talking. We could just bounce between streams. I mean, that worked out really well. I watched you guys for a couple hours, which is
I think that's the way to do it with
fun.
Battle Royale. I've been playing a lot with Loco. Then I think tonight me and Summer are gonna play some tonight. So you got to have someone else there, or else it is just dead in between because there is a lot. And then once you get in game, the other thing too is that you get, if you make it to like the final 30 or something, you get so focused you don't even talk to your chat because you're so focused on the game and not dying.
I look away, someone's gonna shake me.
Off 20.
Yeah, I turn the music off right from the start.
Do I owe you money, Cobalt, for because you got further than me, didn't you?
The battleground I got into, it wasn't like your typical 150 people. Right away, it started at like 60 or 70. So I feel like I didn't have to go through the bulk of them. Like it was one of those the BRs where you get like half the people. So.
Oh, okay. But
so let's not count it.
Cobalt and I I offered him a bet. I said if you can beat, because I got to 11th place, I think, maybe 11th or 10th or something like that, just by avoiding everybody and hiding in a blackberry bush for like 20 minutes.
That was a great round, to your credit. That was awesome. I was like, this is his third time playing, and he almost made the top 10. This is insane.
Yeah, and I was just sitting there hiding, and I see like cars driving by, like guys running away. It's like my chat is just screaming at me, like, go kill him. But then there's the really calmer ones who are like, just stay there. Don't fucking move, man. Do not move.
Are you actually killed someone with a... I've never seen anyone kill someone with a melee weapon in H1Z1, and he just did it. That never happens.
Jetty or something?
Yeah, you were in the church, and like you missed all your pistol shots, and he killed him. Sorry to interject, but...
Well, he whipped that axe out.
I'm no good. Like, the first guy I killed, like, I shot like 3 shotgun shells, and like every single, like, shotgun pellet just missed everything. It was like I couldn't have missed worse. And then like he came around the tree and I just went and I looked at him and just blasted him. And you should have seen the elation in my face when I was like, I killed a guy. Oh my god, I killed a guy. It was great. Like I made it to the top 11 killing only I think one person. But
one, that's good though, man. It's good.
Yeah, one is fine. And then like that was an accomplishment. Like killing one guy was stellar.
You did your part. If everybody kills one person, you're gonna have like top 20 in no time.
Boom.
But yeah, so that was, I had a blast playing with Cobalt. I don't think I would have had near as much fun if it was just me and my stream watching, trying to get in and yada yada yada. But yeah, totally a blast.
So I've gotten pretty cocky with the game now. I've won 3 times. I've finished top 10 almost every round unless I get screwed with the house spawn. Zeke and Co, I issue a challenge to you. For every win that you guys get till PAX East, I will donate $100 to a charity of your choice.
Wait, hold on.
You have to win a battle royale, and I will donate to a charity of your choice. A bold bet, I know.
Tell you what, I'll just
on.
Donate $100 myself. Just save your time and energy.
Co, you accept? You're doing it?
I accept.
Okay.
I accept.
All right.
I accept.
Wait, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen if you win a BR?
I don't know. I didn't. You tell
Zeke,
me.
Are you in on this?
Sure. Why not?
How about every time he wins a BR, we each have to pay 50?
Sounds fair.
All right.
Okay.
But really, that we're only going to be able to play. At least I'm only going to be able to play for maybe like 8 hours total till next Sunday. So
I'm blocking out the rest of my schedule to play H1.
This is the Intel challenge all over again. Koibu's going to get it.
I might skip PAX.
There you go.
I might, it's to the end of PAX, right? So I have all of PAX. I could just skip it and okay, good. Well, anyway, we'll talk later.
We'll talk later. All right, so that's the challenge that's been issued. Yeah, they had a big patch last night. I don't know if you guys saw this, but they fixed the aim punch, which is really good. Changed it a little bit, I guess, is maybe a better thing. They added a thing where if you get killed, you can report someone, the last person that killed you. So if you get killed by a hacker, you can just report them and then they'll get banned. So that's a nice tool. It's a cool little tool.
Now, hold on a second.
What are we holding? Okay.
You can report somebody for killing you?
Yeah.
Hackers.
Yeah. So
if somebody hacks you, or if somebody kills you with a hack,
Exclusively?
like you can warp around the map. And a lot of times, what a hacker will do is warp up, like literally right next to you with a shotgun, and just blast you instantly. It's happened to me a few times. So
you
you
can
can't
see it
see their name a lot of times, and so this now lets you report that person. It'll save a little log that Sony can then look at. Or
Yeah, Daybreak. I still do that too. I emailed them last night with like this long email, and then I sent it to the @Sony address, and it sent me like another mail syntax error right afterwards. So I still get it wrong too, Co. I still get it wrong too.
I hope that doesn't get abused. Just salty
I think they have
reports.
ways. Yeah, I think they have ways of seeing if the person was legitimately hacking. They have server logs, perhaps.
even if
Yeah, the
it's
logs.
abused, even if it's abused, though, if you think about a needle in a haystack, it's so much easier to find hackers in that subsect of people than every kill ever. Like it's
That's
it's
true.
it's gonna be it's gonna reduce their time by far. Hopefully, I mean that's the plan. But the other changes were great. The aim punch is still there. I played, by the way, a few hours this morning. Won my first BR this morning, by the way.
Nice.
wow.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you. It was amazing. Anyway, the aim punch is reduced, still there, but reduced.
Well, they changed
but there's
it
a
to,
few
like,
new bugs,
it's if
which
you
is
get-
kind of weird.
What are the new bugs? I'm curious now.
The new bugs. Okay. Before, if you would go into a battle, first of all, battle royale queues this morning significantly less than I've seen in the past.
Really?
It seemed they were coming up quicker. There were new ones I was seeing. Now a lot of that could have been because everyone's character got erased, so everyone has to put in their name and stuff now again.
Right.
But there's no question that I spent a significant less amount of time waiting on that server select screen today. Great stuff. Really annoying bug. For some reason, cops' cars can be silent. So you can't hear a single thing. I'm sitting here in the bush completely alone listening to the crickets here, and all of a sudden this car just goes phew, and just runs me over, and I'm
So
dead,
it's-
and I'm rolling across the freaking thing.
That's how it was in
seriously
Arma,
It was
man.
like a silencer car. I don't know what happened. It was ridiculous.
That's
was
how it
awesome.
was in Arma. It's
wrong.
scary. Cars were like scary as hell in Arma because they were deadly silent. And so you would just get run over, like you'd be sitting in a bush and a car would just like pass over you. You'd have no idea. So
But that's normally the car and the engine sounds in H1Z1 are actually great. Most of the time, if you hear them, you can like position them like in your like okay, it's back to my left. Like if you hear that car kind of moving around, so it's a big change. Hopefully they'll fix that quick. The other cars don't seem affected for some reason. The Jeep and green truck, I don't. It's only seemed to happen with the police car.
Oh,
Don't know all
okay.
the details. But and the other bug, and this is really annoying, is you used to be able to click into a BR, and if it showed the queue window with dashes with no numbers, you knew you would get in.
right.
It's not like that anymore. For some reason now, when you get that little dash thing, it just never goes in. So
Oh, that
it's not a
sucks.
big deal because the servers are cycling faster now, so they seem to be, working better overall. But yeah, just don't wait on that screen anymore.
Gotcha. Is your cat destroying your green screen right now?
My dog is wagging his tail as my wife comes in, and he's
Gotcha. I saw that. I thought we were gonna have a cat just climb up and destroy the green screen. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm still gonna be playing H1Z1 BR. It's got an addictive thing to it now. Where last week I think was the week that I was complaining about it. I've learned to deal with the aim punch, and they fixed it or adjusted it to where it only happens with headshots now, headshots and neck shots or something like that. So we'll see. I'm definitely gonna be playing a lot more of it. So. Co, you played some Hand of Fate. Is that the prop? Is that
Yes.
Yes. What? Tell me about that
I'm
game.
on the very last. There's like 4 rows of 3 cards, and each one's like a boss. And I'm on the very last card right now. This game is brutal.
It's hard?
I mean,
Really?
it's kind of like Darkest Dungeon, where you move through these encounters, and the encounters are different cards in your deck, which you can actually choose at the beginning of the round. And then, of course, every round the dealer has certain cards. And it is a ridiculously RNG game at times. You frequently have to pick between 4 options, and anywhere from huge success, success, failure, and huge failure. And there are cards in this game where if you get a huge failure, you're dead. Like it doesn't that's it. Doesn't matter how good the run was going or how strong your character is, it will kill you. And
what is the reload state like? Do you just respawn or
Now-
restart or what?
Yeah, basically every game comprises of a row of cards that you work to the end. So every stage has a beginning and an end, and the very last stage, the end, is the boss. So you kind of work through the encounters to the boss while dealing with the boss itself, various different enemy encounters. There's kind of this little action component. Feels very much like an Arkham Asylum game. A little bit simpler, but still just as fun. And since the latest release, it's actually gotten a lot tighter, which I know we were kind of talking about in the last show would have been a big issue if it wasn't like that. But
Right.
between the deck organization, the action sequences, the randomness, which actually is a great component of the game. No games are the same when you're going through. It's completely different every time. Even the layout of the board just seems to completely randomly change as you move through the levels. But it's a lot of fun. It's a really good time, and it's certainly one, that has kept I think I played like 15 hours so far.
Wow.
Still thoroughly enjoying it. I haven't even gotten to the endless mode. Once you kind of unlock all the cards, you can play this mode where it just keeps going. And like the big pull of endless mode is see what your top score can get. And I haven't even tried that yet. There's a lot of people in the community that are having like little challenges back and forth on who can get the highest score and stuff. So it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it for $20.
Wow. Yeah, I need to. There's a lot of games like that are on my radar. This one's one of them. I've watched maybe 5 or 10 minutes of the stream. It seems like a game where you have to really start from the beginning to understand it, because it doesn't do a good job of, at least from watching the 5 minutes of those streams, understanding what it is. Zeke or Cobalt, have you guys played this at all? Is it on your radar? Do you plan to play Hand of Fate?
I saw it at PAX Prime and talked to the developer, actually, and he had sent me some keys, and I actually didn't pick it up until yesterday. I started playing it just because there was such a surge of people in my channel coming in and asking me if I had tried this or if I had seen this, so I knew the interest was there. And it looked like a cool game when I tried it at Prime. It does have a very good tutorial. When you first start it up, it jumps you right into a card game, so it kind of forces you through a few encounters to kind of give you an example of the decision making and then the combat and the different mechanics. So it will play you through the first 2 stages, and you're gonna feel like the game is very easy, but the difficulty does start scaling up. And yeah, I mean, I had basically, you get 4 cards for some of the encounters, and they give you a chance, 3 or 2 successes, 2 failures, and then they flip the cards over, shuffle them, and you have to choose one. And I had a 75% chance 5 times in a row to succeed, and I picked the fail every freaking time.
That's rough.
And I could not believe it. I was like, are you serious? 5 in a row, 75% chance. But it can get pretty brutal, but it is pretty fun. It's very entertaining. Chat seems to really like it, so I would definitely suggest it. Definitely pick it up.
That game might help add to the equipment graveyard that I have.
You think
quickly
so?
Piling up in the corner of my.
Are you keeping all of it, by the way?
No, I can't. I have a pretty fucking small apartment.
You should bring it to PAX and give it away to your fans.
Give away broken equipment to my fans.
Sign your broken equipment and give it away at PAX.
Dude, people would love that.
I love
bring it. Look,
sign
Zeke. Actually, I'm gonna one up. We're gonna use it for drop frames. Bring it to the panel.
Okay.
Ship it to PAX. Ship it to your hotel room or something.
Okay.
Look, I'm gonna give you a list of things to do, Zeke. And we'll just throw broken stuff at the crowd. We'll let you. Yeah. We'll let you
throw the keys. Who got the cue? Look at the underside.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I downloaded it a while ago, and I was actually looking forward to playing it. I was trying to play. Oh my god! And Ko knows about my capture card woes, just because I was trying to play 18 the Order yesterday, so I'd have something to talk about. And it wouldn't my capture card wouldn't capture my PS4 anymore. I turned it on, capturing just fine. PlayStation has an update. All right, now it won't capture anymore. So I'm just I don't know what to do. So I was really frustrated yesterday, and I was in no mood because I was fine. I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna play a new game. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have lots of fun today. And then 2 hours of trying to get it to work and nothing happening. I was like, if I started broadcasting anything else right now, I would be the sourest son of a bitch, and I would just poop on everybody's day, and I don't want to do that. So I just tweeted out, I was like, not in the mood, not gonna force it. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a shame. Well. Is it a shame, though, you didn't play the Order? But go ahead, Ko.
Before we move on from Zeke, you ended up trying Oblitus, right?
Yeah, that's what I was about to
How was that?
Oblitus. Yes, I played Oblitus, and I had a day with my dad. Zeke dad was on the broadcast on Sunday. But yes, Oblitus. Played Oblitus Thursday after the broadcast, and it's one of those games where you can absolutely say it's well put together. It's got a stellar soundtrack. The sound design of that is it's second to none. It's very, very good. Very and it changes with scene from area to area and stuff like that. It's very, very good. Very well designed. The art design is obviously very unique and colorful and defined. There is the element, the roguelike element that really, really hurts me as a gamer because I hate roguelikes because like, you know, the permadeath, go back to the very beginning, you keep nothing of your upgrades that you've spent, you know, an hour and a half to get. And don't get me wrong, it's a closed beta right now. I don't know if they open it up or whatever, but when I played it, it was closed beta. The guys actually contacted me, and they said, "Hey, you want to play this?" And I said, "Sure." So I played it, and there were a couple things. One main problem that killed me twice was they set up the rule, the world rule that fall damage doesn't hurt. Like there's no fall damage. So you're like falling, you're like, fine, okay, whatever. Maybe I'll fall on an enemy or something, but that's only like a little bit of damage, whatever. But there's a section in the third area of the game where if you fall, like you fall in nothing and your game's over. And I did that twice. So I was like, okay, closed beta, but God damn you, that's an hour and a half of work that I just did, and I got to do it all over again. And by the time it happened the second time, I was like, well, that's Oblitus. I'll see you guys later.
That was my Subnautica experience, funny enough.
Yeah, so, but I mean, honestly, it's a very good game I mean, you can see it right there. It's a good-looking game. It's a roguelike action adventure with huge like bosses and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun if you like that kind of stuff. Yeah, I look at it, you can see it, and it definitely give the soundtrack a listen. It's
good soundtrack. The art style looks kind of like conflicting. I don't know what it is about the art style, but I like it, and I also dislike it at the same time. I don't know how to express what it is I don't like and what it is I like, but it's an interesting art. Maybe it's too shiny. Maybe that's what it is. Everything looks
very
like really
colorful.
polished. Yeah.
The way some of the enemies move, they kind of swing a little bit, and it kind of doesn't look natural to me. But the art style's there. It's just kind of like their movements, I think, is kind of what's
Maybe
throwing me there.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I will check it out. How many bosses did you kill, Zeke? Did you kill any?
I got 2 down.
Okay.
2 of the 4, because that's what they said. We challenge you to kill 4 of our bosses. Think it's easy? Well, think again. You know, that was the kind of selling point of it.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, why that's, like, a challenge, because if you die, you have to kill all the ones you've done before. So I killed that first guy that you saw that was, like, smashing and stuff, that huge rock troll-looking thing. I killed that guy, like, 7-8 times.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Because you have to keep in to get to the next area.
Some of those boss fights did look pretty epic when I was tuning in to check it out.
Yeah.
What'd you play with your dad on stream? What?
We switch games a lot because I like to keep it keep it lively and changing and stuff like that. Like we played I played Darkest Dungeons for a little bit just to welcome.
I heard I died in your game.
You were my crusader and you died.
And you know who told me that? That asshole Julia comes into my chat.
Of course, because she died before you did.
Yeah, and I gave her a bunch of shit. And then when I died, she tweeted me. She came in my chat, was like, "Hey JP, you just died in Zeke's game." And I was like live at the time, so I was pretty upset. But yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, no, we got destroyed by the pig, the swine god. My 2 up front guys, my 2 tanks. Cobalt was in there too, I think.
God.
You were my highwayman. I think you may have perished a while before that. But guess who's still alive on my fucking squad? Who's gonna be a part of my A squad now? Guess. The fucking CohhCarnage, the bounty hunter.
Oh, okay.
CohhCarnage is gonna be my off tank bounty hunter, and he's gonna take like when we finally get to the swine god and the hag whatever queen. He's gonna be in my A squad. Oddly enough, because I had like kept him in the back. I never took him on any missions. And then I started getting used to the bounty hunter more and more. And I was like, all right, they're okay. Come on. And begrudgingly, I took him along because I really didn't want him to have any of the glory. Just a little friendly rivalry there. Because my guy, who is the jester, I stopped using the jesters completely.
Really? Did they nerf him too much, you think?
No, I just don't have any use for them. They don't heal. They give buffs, but they don't heal very much. I just wanted the occultist is by far my favorite character because they can do some damage from the third and fourth row, and they also have pretty massive heal when they get it.
Gotcha.
They nerfed the barb lady a lot. Too.
Yeah, the Hellion. Yeah, they got super nerfed.
Yeah, I don't play those guys either anymore.
That's a shame because it was my favorite class, but.
I'm surprised you really like the occultist, Zeke. They drive me crazy. Like the getting like a row of bad RNG on heals when you need it.
Oof.
Like there's nothing like getting a 1 heal, a 3 heal, and then it bleeds them and doesn't heal them. It's just like it's like that was 3 turns. I could have done something. Like I can't handle that.
But getting that clutch 15-point heal like when you need it.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, but Dad and I, we started off with that, and then we played some. Let Dad play. My dad rode motorcycles for years. Like he was like a 5-state champion of motorcycle hill climbs, or not hill climbs, but flat track and all kinds of motocross stuff. So he loves playing Trials, like Trials Evolution or Trials.
Oh.
So we let him play a little bit of that, and he just loves it because it's only 3 things. It's gas, brake, and lean.
That game's frustrating.
Yeah, he loved it, of course, because he knows the mechanics. He actually knows how to do that shit.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun, and we did the Zeke Dad Advice Hour, which is always a huge hit for everybody in the show because they'll like ask questions, and my dad actually takes it pretty fucking seriously. He's like, "Well, you just make sure that they know you love them," and he like actually gives like real advice.
That's cool.
I was totally unexpecting it, but it was like the first time I had him on, we did it, and then we've done it every time since, and it's always been a huge hit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I had no idea that Dad and I would get along so well, like playing video games together. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Before me and Co get into the order, and I assume Zeke, you'll probably just split for that because I think we'll probably talk. The game's only 5 hours. There's going to be spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not that concerned about it.
Cobalt, what else have you been playing on your channel?
Oh man, I just finished up Resident Evil Remastered, which I remembered nothing about because I played that when I was a child, pretty much, on the original PlayStation. So it was like a port of like a remaster of like an upgrade. So I really didn't know what to expect, but it was a lot of fun. Then I had a great time playing Bayonetta 2. That game is just nonstop action, awesome combat, just unlockables, replay value if you want to go back through it. I would definitely suggest it, especially if you like the Devil May Cry series or action adventure stuff like that. Before that, I did the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 mix back in December as well, and then of course, Tons of Isaac.
You're not a Kingdom Hearts hater?
You know what? I'm not really feeling the Disney parts, but I love RPGs.
Okay.
So the combat system for me is, I love the combat system, like the customization of it. I like how the boss fights are, for the most part, very thought out, and how you're going to go about doing it and stuff like that. So I kind of poke fun at Donald and Goofy the whole time, and do like little voiceovers and whatnot, but we got through it.
That you can't look at a guy and say like, oh, he's going to like this game, because I honestly, to look at you, I'd be like, he would never play Kingdom Hearts.
I love RPGs. What can I say?
Speaking of RPGs, did you watch the Final Fantasy 15 demo footage that they put out?
I have not. They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to basically sell me on anything Final Fantasy at this point. Like,
dude, they sold me in that. I got hype.
Oh gosh, I need to check it out.
I pre-ordered the stupid game that they're packing that demo with. That comes out in March. Like, it looks really, really cool.
Oh wow.
So wait, what sold it for you, JP?
Granted, I was watching someone else playing it. I didn't play it myself, so keep that in mind. But my interpretation of what I was seeing was that it was the final portion of Final Fantasy 13, but a full game. So like that, the good part of Final Fantasy 13 right at the end, where the world opens up and there's you're in the giant overworld kind of, and you're exploring and stuff like that. It seemed like that was the game. It was Final Fantasy 15, and it looked really good. Again, I'm kind of the same way. They're really going to have to sell me on it, but I'm just so much of a Final Fantasy fanboy that they've already done it so simply. We'll see.
I actually haven't played a Final Fantasy game and got really into it since 7, so I'm the loop on that. And it doesn't help that more often than not I just hear bad shit about it.
They screwed up
and
13.2 and 13.3 were just disgusting. They were just.
We don't even speak of 10.2, please.
10.2, yeah. I didn't play it, but Yeah.
Well, you didn't miss out on much there.
10 was pretty bad in my opinion too.
It ruined my Christmas. 10-2 did. It's the only game I wanted, and I played it for an hour and was like, "Oh, I hate you. Why did you do this?"
Yeah. I think the
last
was 12.
The last
one that
player I played was 13. It wasn't that bad. I played it on the Xbox. It wasn't that bad. It was pretty good.
Like it.
It was.
Hold it in.
The very end of 13 was like an amazing experience. It was a really good portion of the game, but you had to play like 40 hours of holding down through a straight corridor or a straight walkway.
The linear.
Yeah.
It's so linear.
It was
first
really
half.
linear. That I didn't like about it at all.
Yeah.
I didn't like the combat system that much either. I actually liked the combat system from 12, honestly, with the lines. And I mean, I know you could abuse the system, but it was unique. I'm still turn-based. Like,
Okay.
turn-based is what I really like. I like Chrono Trigger's combat system.
Yeah,
that was one of my
always been good.
favorite.
So the one thing I pulled away was it's basically Kingdom Hearts, but in Final Fantasy. And the cool thing is that they actually do have like dual attacks and triple attacks in the combat system that I think is going to be kind of like a limit break type thing. Granted, I was reading everything that was translated, so some of it was probably not properly done. It was all fan translation, so who knows what the actual game's really going to have in it.
Super fun, good attack. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they put that out. I think people probably have been talking about it in the chat. I'll find the video link and tweet it out. It's on the Square Enix official YouTube or something like that. It was like an hour of footage. I don't dare show it on here because one, they'll claim the shit out of me on YouTube, and two, they'll probably claim the shit out of me on Twitch because Square Enix is terrible when it comes to that. But I don't know. It looks cool. I'm definitely gonna be checking it out in March. We'll see. Co, I think it's time to talk about the order. Now,
All right.
I'm just putting up the spoiler tag right now. If you want to play the order, don't watch because I'm probably gonna be jumping into a bunch of the spoiler stuff. But first off, Co, what'd you think? Did you like the game?
I did. Okay. There's hold on. Let me disclaimer that a little bit. There were parts of the game that I feel were phenomenally made and were really good testaments to what a game should be. And there are other components of the game that are insultingly basic and recycled and make me want to hang myself.
Really? Well, okay. I shouldn't say really. I do kind of agree with that. There's a lot of recycled animations. One that just immediately jumps into my mind is when he like checks the bookshelves. He like opens it up properly and then he goes like moves the papers and moves it to the left and then 3 books fall. Saw that probably about 5 or 6 times, which is why I can recall it so correctly. But I actually really like that game. It has its faults. I do have some issues with it being a $60 game. But I felt like that game looked gorgeous. Even though the story was very not surprising, I still enjoyed it. I liked the world that it was set in, the setting that it was set in. What'd you think of like the actual gameplay?
That is actually where most of my problems lie, if not all of them. The basic gameplay felt there was absolutely nothing special about the basic gameplay. It was standard cover shooter. The weapons were really great, but that kind of goes in with the whole setting stuff.
Yeah.
It really drove me crazy because I've just kind of like the same effect I had with some of the BioShock Infinite places. There were so many times in the order when I wanted to do something and I just couldn't because it wasn't an option. Like at one point, a carriage slides in front of your path and you can clearly see like 3 feet under it. And the guy's like, "Oh God, our path's blocked. What do we do?" And then, you look to the right and it's kind of like, what? I was standing there like, go under, like what, we want to get dirty? We're running for our lives. It was, and there were other parts when there are items in the world that you want to use at or look at, and it's just nothing was there. You could pick up items, and they have no purpose. You'd sit there like scrolling them around. It felt like half a game when you were actually playing it. But here's the thing: the setting, the voice acting, the characters, the story progression, the cinematics were all top notch. They were fantastic. They're almost good enough to carry the gameplay, which in fact I just kind of slugged through the gameplay to get to the story and the cinematics and the progression, stuff like that. The stealth components all felt tacked on, felt really confusing. Like they one-shot see you and kill you when you normally take 20 bullets. Like it just felt incomplete. It felt like the game component was half a game, but then everything else was just really well done. It was like there was a big dichotomy there.
It sounds like since I haven't played it, I'm going by your description. It sounds like there was potential for it to be like an Uncharted kind of a thing with like great cutscenes, great story elements, and that kind of stuff. They just didn't have enough of it, or
yeah, sort of. And there were so many occurrences in the game when you could just tell that they didn't really think it through. Like, for instance, you can get audio logs in the game, just like in System Shock 15 years ago, right? You know, you pick up the audio log, it gives you an option to go look at it somewhere else, or it'll play it for you, so you can keep playing the game and listen. In this game, when you go and listen to the audio logs, it forces you to do it in this like little archive window. If you back out, it stops playing the audio, and there's a big transcript of it right in front of it. So you're sitting here going, you know, like why would you take this step back? Like I ended up not listening to the audio because I didn't want to sit there staring
I never
at
listened to it because I couldn't figure out how to play it. So
yeah, which was confusing in itself. At one point, like a little message flashes for 2 seconds on the screen, like check your archive for audio. You know, and actually a viewer caught it because I missed it. I was sitting there like, okay, what button do I hold down to play it? You know, like
that's what I was doing. I would pick it up and I'd hold down triangle or whatever, trying to get it to play.
that
do
kind
they
of stuff,
assume that we
so
can't listen and play at the same time?
I don't know.
You can only play it from inside the menus, and a big transcript of what you're listening to is on the screen. Like follow the words. You know, it's like it's so weird.
One of the best parts about like the BioShock games, like you pick up a thing, you listen to it while you're shooting splicers and stuff like that, and you can stop it if you want to.
Or the part that I love about those is you pick up like an audio log in an abandoned hospital, right? And you're sitting there walking around the operating table while you're listening to an operation that took place on the table, and you're sitting there like imagining it. And, you know, it's a huge gameplay mechanic. It's fantastic. It adds a narrator to an event that's not normally narrated. That's one of the big draws of it. And it's just like they took 5 steps back with it. It was so odd. It actually made me angry when I figured out that happened. I was just like, this is so dumb.
I didn't listen to him at all, so I would be angry about that if I found it, but I just didn't. Maybe I didn't care enough about the world, and maybe that's a flaw in the game in itself that I didn't want to seek that out. But
well, I will say, like, the world was pretty interesting. The story itself was not so much, but the setting and like the weapons and the whole organization, and you know, there were so many questions at the end of it that I'd love to see it. Did you see the little bit after? No, not to spoil it, but did you see the bit after the credit, JP?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
So that at least, you know, is.
It felt like I was ripped straight from Batman.
Yeah,
100%. But
I said that was about 5 hours.
Yeah,
5 hours.
I beat it in 6.5, 7, something like that.
I took it in 7, and I died a bunch of times. Went everywhere I could. The only thing I didn't do was listen to the audio logs, and it took me 7 hours.
Did you play it on hard?
I didn't. I played it on normal.
I played on easy. So, and from what people are telling me, the only difference was that monsters were just bigger bullet sponges, and I'm so happy that I didn't play it on a harder difficulty because I probably would have enjoyed the game much, much less.
I think
absolutely. Even normal was a nightmare sometimes. What was that?
I think we're burying the lead here. Tell me about the dongs. Tell me about the dongs.
The amount of dongs is too damn high.
There was 2 dong scenes.
I will play this game.
There was 2 dong scenes. That's it. Maybe
them is horribly unrealistic.
If you were looking at the chat, like they were flooding. Like the chat was flooded. Like, the dongs! Look at the dongs! Like so many dongs.
I'll try to find the highlight because I did a good job censoring it with my camera, where I just flew around the screen. I gotta find it.
Actually, you know what? Taymorag just said what I was just about to say. This is a $20 game. If it was $20, I would actually recommend it, but it's not. It's $60 for 7 hours, and also the one of the biggest flaws with it: no side exploration, none. Like
they have replay value at all.
None.
No, 0.
Nope.
There's trophies. That's it.
I didn't even, those even weren't working with mine when I was playing. Like I didn't get any trophies the whole game. I don't think. I'd have to look back.
My requirements for a game are replay value and money per hours played for a lot of the time, unless it just has a really kick-ass story. I mean, you basically what I'm looking for a game is you want $1 per hour. That's about where you want to hit. I try to get $1 per hour out of gameplay. And unless it's just a title that I'm just super hyped about or I'm into, like, say, BioShock. Like, BioShock, I'd pay $60 every time for a game like BioShock Infinite. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and it's because I'm into the whole series. But for a 5 to 7 hour game for a new title, I mean, it's pushing it, I think.
Yeah, I think 20. I think because of how the game looks, I think 20 is a little bit low. I'd be comfortable playing 40 max. 30 is probably a good price point.
I'd say 30.
Yeah, 60 for me is like way too high, and I think we all agree with that. It's way too high for the amount of gameplay.
But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What the fuck were they thinking? Like, if I may quote the angry video game nerd, what were they thinking? Like, as far as like a 7-hour game for $60, like, are you? I mean, is it a joke? Are they playing a trick on us?
I mean, I can spout off. Well, not if I put myself on the spot. There are many games in the past several years that have been $60 that have probably been around the same length, maybe an hour or two longer than this, and everyone was totally fine. It's just that in 2015, I feel like you can't do that anymore because, one, people are going to do whatever they do on the Reddit, on social media. They're going to fucking go crazy at a moment's notice, which they do on pretty much anything now in video games. And two, like, I do agree you can't do that anymore in this day and age because there are games like Darkest Dungeon out there. There are games like Binding of Isaac out there. Where,
Competition.
Yeah, where it's driving down the price point of games from where they used to be.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, I think there will always be a place for a well-made single-player game. It's just going to be up to companies to, like Cobalt was saying, and I actually completely agree with Cobalt. In fact, I have an extremely similar system, except I call it the $2 system. Mm-hmm. I usually say if it's $2, then that works fine. But I mean, if you're going to take a game like The Order, where a company was told, okay, we need to have a showcase product. This needs to really show off what the PS4 can do. It's going to be a PS4 exclusive. We want people to see this game and go, dude, I need to buy that system. This looks beautiful. So their focus was to attract people with that kind of stuff. Now, when you're, 4 months out from this thing being, yeah, Torque's trying to get in the conversation too. When you're, 4 months out from the game getting launched, and all of a sudden, the higher-ups are being told, oh, well, hey, it's only 7 hours, but it looks really good. Of course, they're just going to want to get it out. They're going to want to meet deadlines, that kind of stuff. It comes down to what is the perspective of the people making this game. So for them, longevity, that kind of stuff, value, the game design obviously is a huge issue. Maybe they didn't fund that very well. There's all sorts of things that are pointing to it being for the setting, the look, and the graphics, and not any of that other stuff, which I don't think is a good precedent. I actually really don't like that. I think they should have taken a lot longer with the game, made it 14 hours, 20 hours. They could have made that game so much longer than it was. It rushed through most of it.
I think, and maybe this is being too late, I feel like the amount of stuff that they had in that game in terms of that level of rendering and that level of art is like, it takes a very, 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 very long time to do something like that. And I think a lot of people grossly underestimate how long it takes to do something like that. That being said, I do wish it was longer, 100%.
Just give us the rest of the gameplay then.
Well, the thing is, the gameplay looks like the cutscenes. Like, it's 1-in-1. You're literally watching a cutscene that you can move about in that's scripted. Like, I had a hard time when I first started playing knowing when I actually had control and knowing when it was a cutscene because it's 1-to-1. Like, it looks that good throughout the entire thing. There's no quality switch. There's no, like, Final Fantasy VII thing where you see like an awesome cutscene and it goes back to like the shitty gameplay, right? It's just a fluid transition, which is what they promised back, I guess, when the game was first shown. I think there was a quality dip from what they showed at E3, but I still think the game looked amazing.
The FPS and the letterboxing, man, those were huge issues when I was playing.
I didn't mind the letterboxing. The FPS I did, but I got used to it over time.
I don't know. I can't really get on board. I mean, with putting, taking 25% of my view screen away and then trying to argue that, more importantly, not giving me the choice. This is America, damn it. I get to choose if I want letterbox.
Yeah.
Yes. I am totally with you on that. I had the same problem with Evil Within, right?
Yes.
The letterboxing, that is just bullshit garbage.
I didn't mind it so much.
But the worst part is a lot of people are saying that the only reason they did the letterboxing was because the PS4 couldn't keep up with the amount of pixels that would have to be on the screen without it. And when you get to that point, it's like, okay, if you're making this game purely as a showpiece product and you're trying to sell your system, at least optimize it enough. Like that's just even more of a kind of, I almost feel like they should have labeled this an interactive movie, and then sold.
Did you guys play Heavy Rain? Did you play Heavy Rain at all?
I didn't.
So I felt this was basically Heavy Rain, but with actual shooting in it. Like, it felt very similar to that game. I think Heavy Rain was maybe a little bit longer, but it felt super similar to this game for me. And graphically, I think this looked much better because obviously it's PS3 versus PS4.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't mind the letterbox stuff too much. I think what I do mind is how they handled it PR wise. I think they did a very poor job there. Where I don't even think they came out and said that it was because the PS4 couldn't render it. They basically, I don't know what they said, but they didn't say that. I don't think
They said it was the cinematic experience. The
Yeah.
PR surrounding the order was
was really bad.
extremely poorly handled. Like on multiple fronts by multiple people. A memo must have gone out at some point and just been like, deflect, deflect, deflect. Do not have anything of substance. Just deflect everything that's said about the game. They tried to justify 30 FPS. They tried to justify letterboxing. Never admitted it was a problem. It was
Yeah,
messy.
and that's where I have an issue with it. But I didn't necessarily mind it in game. But I think the best reviews of this game are people saying that it's a rental, because I think it's 100% a rental game. It's the definition of a rental game. But I enjoyed my time with it. They're obviously going to do a second one. I kind of likened it to the first Assassin's Creed, where the game was like the most mediocre game you could have, and then the second one came out and was really good, and I hope that's what happens with this one. But we'll see. Who actually knows? I hope they don't start making them every other year. So we'll see.
I will say at the end of it, I did want more. Like, there's no question.
Yeah.
Like, so that's a good sign. Nothing
And
else.
I really enjoyed I hate QuickTime events, but the QuickTime events that were in this game, I actually enjoyed them.
Oh wow,
They were.
And
Yeah,
that's a
no,
bold
and-
statement, I know, but and it's because it looks so good. If it looked terrible, I wouldn't have enjoyed it at all. But I really liked how good it looked.
It didn't only look good, but it was just a fraction more complex enough to be a bit more engaging. Like, I really liked, without spoiling it, there's like a dodge mechanic in line with other stuff you're doing. It almost feels like a fighter kind of. It's no question a QuickTime event, but at least it's a little bit easier to get through. I will say when I first heard about the order, I was told there were 2 QuickTime events that were identical. And I thought it was going to be like the same buttons in the same sequence. And I was like, oh, that's horrible. Like, that sounds horrible. But when you play it, they're the same system. But there's no question that it's going to be different how you do it. Like, it's definitely a different fight. He moves different. Like, things are, so.
And that came from
was
Jesse's
surprising.
tweet last week, I think, on Drop Frames. We were talking about that, where it did have the 2 fights are very similar, but like you said, they are different in how it actually goes down. So.
But I will say that still, there's no question I would have preferred real fighting. Like, it doesn't justify the QuickTime events. It's just better.
Yeah,
I haven't enjoyed QuickTime events since God of War, and that kind of like introduced me to that whole mechanic at all.
Maybe enjoyed. Maybe I can retract that and say I didn't mind. Is a better way of saying that.
That's the boat I'm in.
Yeah. To say I enjoyed them would be probably not true, because let's face it, you're just spamming X and then you hit like Y and hold it down, and you've seen it all before. But it's not like I was just like, oh god, here's another QuickTime event, etc., etc. So
It seems hard for me to make that like satisfying in a game like that, because in God of War you're doing these almost superhuman things where you're swinging
it's like epic
things around, and
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's more epic, and you're like, oh fuck yeah, get him. And the way that the order seems kind of to progress, and the way it looks is, it's over the shoulder, and it's just like, how much can you do with that to make it, that kind of epic? So
Quick
I don't
time
know.
to turn the
I'm
page.
curious.
Look, it's like if you
I will
miss it,
say-
get a paper cut. Oh no!
Oh yeah. What
Quick,
were we
stop
gonna
the
say?
bleeding. Get the gauze. Wrap it. XXXXXXXX.
Oh, you wrapped the wrong arm. You weren't fast enough.
I was just gonna say, like, I totally see what you're talking about, Cobalt, and I agree. I love one of the only God of Wars I played was on the PSP, and even that one felt really good. Like, I had
You
a
need to
great time
play
with it.
through
Yeah.
the God
Wow.
of War series, man.
I've been told that more than a few
God of
times.
War
It's
2
satisfying.
has one of the best, and it's even in HD. You can play the HD versions. God of War 2's final thing, it's like final level session fight, amazing. It's simply one of the most epic things I've ever played. It's fucking incredible. It's so cool.
I've definitely seen some videos of the higher end boss fights where
Yeah.
you're like grappling around them.
Yeah,
It's
and then
absolutely
God of
sick.
War 3 starts out, and it's like it starts where God of War 2 ended, pretty much identically, and it's just even crazier from there on. So definitely play it. It's a lot. They're a good series. Now
I have to give that a try.
I want to see the next God of War.
The cool thing about that though is everything's weighted. It feels like there's actual tactile, responses to the stuff you're doing, and that's actually one of the things I liked about the order. Like the second you press that button, something really kind of locks into place quickly. You're fighting usually things a lot bigger than you, so it has a good weight to it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So go rent it. Don't spend $60. I'm sure it'll be on sale in a couple months.
Gamefly it.
I wonder if they'll put that out on a PS Plus thing. If they'll give it away on like PS Plus for free.
That would be cool.
I bet you'd get a lot of. That's a good way to like bait some PS Plus subscriptions if you gave away the order for free. But we'll see if they actually do. It's first party, so I don't see why they wouldn't.
Oh yeah, Colorable just reminded me of the touchpad integration. Oh my god.
They did that once. It was only in there once, right?
Dude, okay. Now this is a small spoiler.
I'm putting the spoiler tag back up. Sorry.
All right, so I'm guessing on the back of the order, there's a little icon that says, touchpad integration. Like one of those little signs that says, this game uses the touchpad. At one point in the game, this arbitrary Morse code thing appears on the screen, and you have to use the touchpad as a button to press and hold, press and hold,
Oh,
press
that's
and hold,
right. That's
press.
what it was.
Okay, that's the
So
only
innovative.
time-
It's the only time you ever use
You
it.
use the touchpad, and you don't even use it as a touchpad. You use it as a button. So the second that scene was done, I was just sitting there because it was like 3 or 4 hours in. You're not going to get something else like that for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that was it. That was our touchpad integration.
And
That's it.
I like what it did in game. I didn't necessarily like the fact that I had to use the touchpad. It was kind of cool, but it felt like, guys, we really need to show off the touchpad. The gamers really got to see that we have a touchpad.
They got finished with the
On
game.
our
They're like,
controller.
oh, that's right. They wanted the touchpad thing. What do we do? Throw it in right there. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, Jenkins, you got it? Okay, good. We're going to tack that on. We'll put it out. There we go. Now we can put that little thing on the back of the box.
Yeah, it was.
Zeke, you
it was
just
bad.
nailed that. I think that little thing is a small look at the much broader picture of the game, just like getting out objectives. Like, we need to look pretty. We need to make sure we have touchpad integration. Make sure you have guns. It's just like a checklist. And that was it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that, and that is so true. It's so stupid.
It's like almost false advertising, man. Almost
Yeah.
like it's.
Well, when a game's 7 hours, I mean,
Well, it's like, imagine what they put on the back of the box for the Power Glove. It's like, real integrated,
it wasn't even on the.
this turning, it'll do it, and then put it on the back, like, they could do this. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, no, well.
The other mechanic too, with the dildoing of the doors to unlock them, that was really odd too. That was just like such a annoying. That was one of the most annoying things in the game.
They could have made the touchpad the lock picking mechanic.
They could
Yes.
have, yeah.
I mean, where you're like with your fingers and you're like, I don't know.
Instead, man, they shoved a dildo into those locks. Then you rotated properly and you got it all good.
Dildo is now a verb. You are dildoing the door.
Yeah. That when you play it, you're gonna be like, "This is totally what this is."
Get your dildo key ring out. Which one is the right size for the door?
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Don't get that. That's a small key. That's a small key. Don't use that one. It's far too large.
It's stuck.
Oh, God. Coalition's just like, oh God.
I'm just seeing a giant key ring of dildos of various colors. It's like a giant,
Hanging from your belt.
Yeah, Tesla invented that stuff, man. That's why.
guy, the janitor at night pushing the trash can with a giant ring of dildos on his belt.
Got your pistol on one side and your dildo keychain on the other.
They need to make a game now where that's the character. That
Like,
he's got that.
getting a call. Oh wait, no, I flipped one on accident.
Exactly. Exactly. Co, did you play anything else on your channel?
Let's see.
Check out
H1Z1.
RimWorld on that patch, the new patch.
I haven't yet. I've been having a lot of fun with RimWorld. Been playing a lot of Hand of Fate, and I've been kind of trying to think of a time to fit, H1Z1 and Hand of Fate. I've been trying to find a time to fit in RimWorld, but just really haven't had the opportunity yet. But I've been talking to a lot of people. And it looks like that they've been actually releasing a lot of patches over the last month, and there's a bunch of these little tiny changes, but no real kind of, big patches yet. So I'm thinking about waiting on that. Especially since just today the Homeworld Remastered collection came out, and I'm actually going to probably take a look at that, maybe even tonight. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out in the next week or so.
Yeah.
And also with PAX around the corner, a lot of people tend to release like alphas and stuff right after PAX. So.
March is going to be busy.
We'll see.
There's a lot of stuff coming out in March for sure. Bloodborne probably number one.
Coming out. Is there anything that you're looking forward to, Cobalt?
Well, we've got the Isaac DLC, obviously, sometime hitting halfway through the year. Kingdom Hearts 3. I really want to jump on that Bloodborne when it comes out. I know that's probably all the one we're waiting for there. Besides that, I'm really excited to jump back into Hand of Fate. I was enjoying that thoroughly last night.
I got to check that out. That's probably the 30th person I've said that Hand of Fate is
good. Dude, if you like Darkest Dungeon, you will like Hands of Fate.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of RNG. It's fun. It's fun.
H1Z1 has this like drug-like effect when it gets into the top 10 where the stress is so high and the adrenaline level is such a rush that I will probably just keep playing that until that goes away.
You're hooked.
I'm literally hooked on that game. Like the adrenaline is too high.
Adrenaline junkie off a video game, JP. How does that make you feel?
I mean, I've known that for a long time. I'm just publicly admitting it. So,
I feel the same way.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. But Cobalt, what is I've actually haven't done much research at all on the Isaac DLC. What's that adding?
Oh, they're going to be adding over 100 new items, more floors. They're going to be adding new bosses, an alternate game mode that you can play completely, which he has not really told us that much information about. He said he just thought up a whole new way that you could play the game and is going to put it in there. I don't know if it's going to be endless mode or what. What else? They're adding new challenges, of course, which will be more difficult. Maybe a new harder mode. I haven't really heard anything much about that. And also, hopefully, a way to basically maybe make a custom game where you can basically go in, uncheck items that you want to appear in the game, curses, different elements like that. So maybe you 100% the game, and it lets you now make a custom run so that we can go through and uncheck this item from appearing, or this item or this curse won't appear. And that way, that would open it up to where we can do custom racing and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool, yeah. So
yeah, the competitive scene, that's awesome.
Co and Zeke have...
You're talking about Cobalt. When you say he's this, he's that, you're talking about...
Is that Edmund, the dev? Who's the dev?
Edmund McMillan, yes.
Okay.
Edmund McMillan, Tyrone Rodriguez, the whole Nicholas team. They're all working on that together now.
Okay, cool.
Zeke and Co, you guys have all played Binding of Isaac, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm the only person on the cast that's never played it. I know what it is. I'm very familiar with it. I've just never played it.
It's got heavy Zelda, a dungeon, early Zelda.
How long does a normal run take for, like, if I've never played it before, how long
Well, it depends on how far you make it, my friend.
Yeah, really?
Back to the beginning. Trust me.
You're probably going to die a few times.
Okay.
I would love to watch, though. I love watching new people.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, to get through my first time, it probably, I would say, to get, because it extends itself. Like, well, I'm sorry. I don't know if the new game does, but I knew the original Binding of Isaac, you'd get to, like, the end, kill it, and that would be a win. You would have a win. But then you have to kill that go to get to the end a few times, and then it would extend. Like, the dungeon would extend to another boss, or another floor, and then another.
Going for a while.
And then another floor. And that kind of thing. But to get your first mom kill is what, I assume it's called. It took me, I would say, 2 days of play. So like 10, 12 hours to get first mom kill.
I guess when I say that, I've watched like Cobalt and Lethal that just like play and beat it in like an hour or something like that. Like, man, this game's really easy.
General run will take between 30 minutes to an hour. If you get all the way through with the fully unlocked content.
And the thing about when Cobalt and one of them are playing it, like there's hundreds and hundreds of items, and it's completely random which one you get. So when you're first starting out in the game, it can be really confusing because every time you get something, there's some great websites that you can just go to and see all the items and mouse over and see what they do.
Sure.
But when you're new, when you're getting all these items, every time you get an item, you kind of have to stop. Okay, what's this do? How do I use it? Is it going to kill me? It's like there's so many things that you kind of have to process. It definitely slows the whole process down. But once you've played it like Zeke said, 12, 15 hours, you're getting close to killing mom. The whole process speeds up big time.
Gotcha.
And the items synergize too. So not only do you need to know the what the item does specifically, but you kind of have to know how it's going to work with your other items as well, because it can either be very beneficial to you or it can just, troll the hell out of you. So it's really the knowledge is definitely a huge part, because the descriptions in the game itself are very vague. But that's one of the things I've grown to love about it, is you kind of have to play by feel. Unless you're going to go digging through the code and do it that way, which everybody has their own way they like to play games. But
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. As far as the vagueness of what the items do, like when I started playing, I was kind of late to the game, but when I started playing Binding of Isaac, and you get something that sounds so cool, like I don't know, you get like the bundle of dynamite, your first run, you're like, oh fuck, bundle of dynamite, this is amazing, and you're running around, and you're like, and it hurts you, and you're like, hey. Wait a goddamn minute. This isn't near as good as I thought it was. But the funny thing is, like, you watch like professional players play it, I guess is the best terminology I can use.
Sure.
They find a way to use that to their advantage for certain things, synergies and that kind of stuff. It's so involved, and it's down to like 0.0 somethings of percentage is better. It's like, this will give you a 0.05% more damage boost. It'll take this off your speed, and they're like down to like the 100th of percents for certain like
Min-maxing, man. Hell yeah.
So silly.
Awesome.
It gets really ridiculous.
It is. But it's so intriguing to watch really good people do this, because you're just like, oh, so this and this. And like people in the chat are like, oh, yeah, it does it. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, does this make my gun better? Oh, that's me.
Yeah. Maybe down the line when there's a dry spell one week, I'll check it out. I think I've played maybe like a total of 5 minutes of it. And it used to be where it would only run at like really low res, right? And the recent version has updated that. Am I making things up, or is that true?
It runs more FPS, yes.
Okay.
Much more smooth. Like the old game looks like stickers to me now, I say, or magnets on a fridge kind of moving around. It's very stocky and kind of pasted on there. And the new one, I feel like it may be pixel art, which I love pixel art personally. I've got nothing against it, but it feels like it's alive. It's got that like the animations, and it's just much more. The look of it's much more there for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, maybe that's enough to get me to warrant a playthrough for it. We'll see.
So would you say it's a superior game to the old one? Like,
oh man.
Oh, is this a conflict of debate?
It is.
Within the scene? Oh.
Taking account like the time and the money that they put into each one.
So, I would say gameplay-wise, definitely spot on. Excellent game, lots of fun. That being said, it's without modding the game as it currently is, we can't competitively race it to a competitive level that I don't feel like is fair enough. It would be more heavily RNG based than skill based. So we're gonna have to mod it to kind of bring that back a little bit, take some items out, maybe a curse or alter something, just so that you can use more strategy and skill involved rather than, I'm stumbling upon this, I'm gonna win this race. The first one, there was fewer items, it was much more balanced. We could ban just a couple of items, and it was much more even. So with this one, for example, there's this item called the stopwatch, and if you pick it up, it basically makes every room you walk into, everything is super slowed down for the rest of the run. And items like that, it kind of dumbs the game down to me. It makes something that's challenging, like, trivial. So, just something like that. So balance-wise, it could use a little bit more balance. That's why I really want the next expansion to kind of implement that system where you can check mark things on and off. But
Sure.
It's still a great game. It's got the replay values there. I've already put over like 700 hours into it since
Jesus.
November.
How much did you put into the original game?
3,500.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
They have the new room codes, or like
The seeds.
yeah, exactly. You can do the same thing. Like you'll have the same rooms, the same items, the same kind of stuff.
Screen cheating becomes an issue there, though.
Okay, because that's what I was wondering. Like I thought that would make it like they put that in there so that you could compete.
Unless it's a live competition, there wouldn't be a way to keep track of screen cheating and whatnot. It'd be like an honor system, and we've in past competitions we've actually had problems once or twice with cheaters we caught. So
you would rather have it be like it was before. Like if you were going to compete with someone, you'd rather have it random, and banned items then have the same rooms.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So they kind of stepped on their own
seeded
foot
could
there.
work, but it would be I don't know. We want to make it as fair as possible, minimize the ability to cheat and just make it fun. We just want it to be fun, really fun to watch, fun to play. We want it to be fun for the racers. We don't want to make it too hard. Like, it's just all about balance, and the game is just lacking a little bit of balance. And I know the game wasn't made to be this racing thing that we kind of built the first one up to be, like with competitions and whatnot. They are trying to cater it to us a little bit, but we're going to make it work either way. And the game is fully moddable, so really it's not that bad of it. Much of an issue, but there's already programmers out there working on modding the game, getting what we need out there. So it's awesome. If you haven't played it, check it out. You'll get, if it's your kind of game, you'll put hours and hours and hours into it. It's $15. Like I said, I got 700 hours into it.
So are you going to bring back Balls of Steel if you can?
We're aiming for April.
Awesome. That was one of my favorite things to watch. If you guys haven't checked out Balls of Steels, I'm sure you guys have VODs somewhere, but the Balls of Steel tournaments and the boiler races and those kind of stuff, I used to watch those all the time, and I was a mediocre Isaac player at my fucking best. And let me tell you, some of those races are just butt clenchy, sweaty, like watching them, you're just like, good.
Oh, yeah.
You get to the very last thing and you die, and that's one of the best things to see, like a good match going back and forth, and someone gets way out ahead and they just get killed, and because they're taking risks with their damage versus their health. And that kind of stuff. And it's some of the funnest like competition stuff to watch on Twitch are those Balls of Steel boiler races. Or I don't know if either one's, I know Balls.
And that's why we want to keep the RNG in there too, because we don't.
Yes.
Sure.
Like, you can be behind, you hit that item, you're right back in it, And it's in a seeded race, you couldn't do that. Sorry.
No. With 3,500 hours in the game, it blows my mind because I don't think I've ever played a game that much. Is that your favorite game, undeniably, of all time?
See, I get the question a lot on my channel. What's your favorite game, Cobalt? Is Isaac your
I think
favorite
we all
game
do, yeah. But 3,500 hours, isn't it just a de facto yes?
I mean, honestly, I would play Hello Kitty if it's what brought more people to hang out on my channel. Like, I love my community, and if that's what they want to watch, like, I'm there for them. That's where my roots are. The way I go about answering the favorite game question.
Hold on. Now, if you wanted to do that, you could be playing LoL, CS:GO, World of Warcraft. You've created a Binding of Isaac community. Between you and Richard Hammer, you guys carved out a section of Twitch that didn't even exist before to turn that into a multi-thousand per day viewership, which is more than some streamers see in their lifetime.
But the room was there. The market was there for it. And the League of Legends scene, the WoW scene, they're so saturated, and they've got pro players and established streamers already. Like, plus, I would kill myself if I had to play 12 hours of League a day. Like, are you kidding me? I mean,
I feel you.
I
think we all are in agreement there.
But I couldn't put that kind of commitment. Everybody's got their own, little niche.
Sure.
But
so
I appreciate that's a huge compliment. I appreciate it.
So it may not be like your favorite game, but you enjoy playing it. And
it's my favorite roguelike. That's how I go about answering the question. For me, I don't like to lock myself down to one thing. When I have favorites, it's in the different genres because there's so many types of amazing games out of there. My favorite MMO, World of Warcraft. My favorite RPG, Chrono Trigger. My favorite roguelike, Binding of Isaac. It goes on and on and on to different genres. I don't like to specifically zone in on one game. And honestly, I have more hours into World of Warcraft than anything. I have hundreds of days on that game.
Yeah, I guess I do too.
Really? You have more hours into World of Warcraft than you do Binding of Isaac?
I do. I have over a year gameplay time.
Actually, yeah. I guess because you said 3,500 hours. Yeah, I'm about 4,500 probably on all the characters in WoW.
You know the funny thing is, I haven't played WoW for years since Wrath of the Lich King was new. And you're probably right. I still probably have more hours in that game than any other game. It's hard.
I didn't even think about that.
I'm Zeke, and I had a WoW addiction.
Yeah. Do you still play Cobalt?
Secretly.
Okay. That's where it's once
Secret's
in a while.
At least to 7,200 people, it is.
Yeah.
I've got a level 100 DK.
To talk about.
Yeah.
The new Garrison is kind of like a Facebook game to me.
It
So
really
I get on, I
is.
do my Facebook
Log
every
out,
day,
yeah.
a little. Yep, do my LFR every now and then. It's fun. It'd be more fun if I had like an actual raid group and people to do it with. But then again, that's time, commitment, schedule.
And as a streamer, you can't. Yeah, that's my issue with it too.
I have to bring it onto my stream to get serious about it, and that's a huge commitment to your channel, and that's a whole different ball game right there.
Yep.
So just got to be careful.
I didn't know that you played that much. Interesting. I didn't even know Zeke played that much. That's interesting.
I used to be a guild leader, like several guilds.
Everyone has their
top of my
secrets,
server.
man.
Oh yeah, heroics, everything. Like I didn't do any PvP. All about the PvE.
Yep.
Very strict.
Yep.
Have your flasks, have your enchants, everything.
That was
A
fun.
year and a half. That's all I did was work, WoW, sleep, eat if I remembered to.
Mm-hmm. That's what conditioned me to be a streamer. Actually, was playing WoW for so long. You get on, it becomes almost like a job. You're doing your 300
never
wipes
even
a night
thought
on
about
whatever
that.
boss. You get accustomed to it. Just
I wonder
yeah,
if
it's
that's
just something to do.
You played EverQuest, right? You didn't. That was your jam.
I did all of them.
Okay, you did.
Yeah,
all of them.
I literally
Kinda did,
like,
yeah.
lost years of my life to these games. Like I tell people, I spent more time in Norath growing up than I did the real world.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding when I say that. I spent more waking hours in front of a computer playing EverQuest, Dark Age of Camelot, Anarchy Online, EverQuest 2, Shadowbane. I mean, that was it. The life was to sustain those.
We'll have to do an episode one day where we just talk about the MMO days and bring
Yeah.
all of our favorites.
I got stories.
I think
bro.
we
Not
all
off
have
the
stories
same-
for days. Yeah, I'm cutting the convo off right now because otherwise we'll be here for another hour talking.
Yeah,
about
true.
stuff. Cool. What have you guys been watching? Anything of note before we take a break? Any in particular streams? I was watching the Sour Kool-Aid show last night with the trash
That's
bag
what I was
roleplay.
gonna say.
That was kind of ridiculous.
I missed that. What happened?
Renee tweeted like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Something like that. And I clicked it. And I was just like, "All right, I can watch this for like an hour."
Didn't Dan like shave part of his head or something? I
didn't see that.
Dan's
I-
gaming?
No, Dan.
No,
Dan Paul.
Dan.
DP.
Dan.
Oh, Dan Paul. Oh,
Yes.
Lord.
He had.
He's got such beautiful hair, though.
He was
Why would
role
he do
playing like trash or something, and like he had
Oh,
like
yeah.
trash on him, and he had like a wig, and it was like a female trash, and he was talking about how he was gonna fuck the other trash to like.
Hold on. Was he the stinky trash monster?
Maybe so, yeah.
Oh my God, that is if he is a stinky trash monster, that's a throwback from back in the projectile comedy days when he was with us.
Oh.
I still do improv with those guys on Thursdays, but he was one of the founding members of projectile comedy here in Billings.
That might have been what that was.
We used to do sketches every week. Like we do one every week, like a 2-hour sketch comedy show that we wrote the previous week and perform it. And one of his characters was a stinky trash monster, and I told him that was the worst fucking character he ever came up with. Because he would come out of the closet, trash bag on.
That's what it was.
Things attached to
Yes, yeah.
it. And he would come out like, I'm the stinky trash. And I was like, that is not funny. It is a bad idea. I don't know why you would ever do it. And it was horrible. So I got to check the VODs because if he brought back the stinky trash monster,
Dude.
I am going to tell him to stop it.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Oh my God. I'm sure it was. I'm sure
There was
everyone
moments where I was laughing.
hated it.
Anything to get Zeke this passionate about it has to be good.
Oh
like, I'm really looking forward to seeing
There's
this.
Zeke.
It's probably
I put it on
absolutely
stream
amazing.
for you. You could see it.
Speaking of the stinky, excuse me, that's not the stinky trash monster, but speaking of the Sour Kool-Aid show, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm going to be on there tonight doing some role playing with those guys as
Nice.
the
awesome.
Rock Biters, the dwarven captain of the dwarves. So I think I'll be on there later tonight doing that.
Awesome stuff. What time is that going to be at?
I think they usually start at 7 Pacific.
Gotcha.
I think.
There you
Pretty
go.
sure, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure it's right around 7 Pacific.
Twitch.tv/Sour Kool-Aid show for that.
Yep.
Anything else you guys been watching?
Dude, I was watching Man vs. Game and his struggle to
Oh my god.
finish
finally-
Wings of V.
I'm so glad that he's done with that game. You don't even.
Me too, man.
And
I'm
not
so
not because I was
salty
tired
that
of
I missed
watching
it.
it. Not because I'm tired of watching it. It's because it was literally destroying it.
On a personal level.
Yeah.
Very personal level, I breathed a huge sigh of relief when I saw the tweets because I wasn't watching it, but I saw the tweets and stuff like that. I breathed a huge sigh of relief when I found out about that because it on a personal level, it was affecting him in a very negative way.
I was there for moral support, man. Every day, like, we're doing this, man. It's happening. Like,
No, I'm so glad he's done with that. And on to Dark Souls, which is like home. You know, it's like walking on a long journey. It's like,
Dude.
I just climbed Mount Everest, and now I'm home, and I feel good, you know?
I watched for maybe like 5 minutes before that, and like the run started off so casual. He was just like talking to chat, not really paying attention. It got to like half HP, and the chat was like, wait a minute, like this is kind of looking good right now. And then I think he started to realize that he was going to get it when I had like fourth of his HP left. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought that he was like faking the almost. I think they honestly were tears at the end. I'm pretty sure that was all real.
No.
I'm pretty sure man was like so fucking excited to the point of tears to be done with that game.
Yes.
Dude, that entire episode with that final boss was a test. It was a display of
It was
dedication.
like 72 hours or something on the
It
final
was
boss, right?
amazing. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing to stream one boss that long and just say I'm not doing a single other thing on Twitch until this is beaten. Like there's very little else I can think of on Twitch that even holds a candle to that kind of. I mean, I would stop in there every day, probably for 5 minutes or so. I'd talk every couple days, and I swear, like even you could tell he was so resigned about it. He was just like, "This is my show for like the last 2 weeks," and you know, like he just adapted to it almost.
Yeah.
And it was still fun and entertaining, which was really surprising. But yeah, it was pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
I think there was more than 5 or 10 streamers that I know were just like, thank God that he no longer has to play that game, because it was rough. It was rough. Have any of you?
The people walking, like, going into his chat, because obviously we talk and stuff, but like people would go into his chat and say like shitty things like, "Oh, you're just you drawing this out to get more subs," and
Really? That was what
shit like that. Like, it's like, do you really think, like, you obviously don't know him
Yeah.
well, because this will never be done. He wants this to be over. You guys have no idea how badly he wants this to be over.
Yep.
Well, going back to the dedication thing, I mean, again, when you're talking about a show, no one wants to see the exact same content over and over and over, and I'm sure man knew that, which was one of the I need to beat this boss factors. But for anyone to even consider that he would be doing that on purpose is just like, dude, there's nothing good, out of doing this over and over. Like, there's no benefits, and people are not going to
watch.
This like dedication. You're looking at somebody with a goal that's going to get it no matter what. Like, that's what you're, I don't know. The whole thing, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, I liken it to like going to watch like some sort of Zen master monk trying to use 10 decks of cards and build a house, not using any glue or anything like that, but building a giant replica of, like, I don't know, the Capitol building, and then like getting to the very last card and having to do it all over.
God, that's a good.
Didn't he get him to like
Good
1%
analogy.
too? Is that that's what you're referencing, right? Where he got him to 1% and then died? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave this on in the background so you guys can see the win, because I can't fast forward in the playthrough. And it's on his.
Really happy when you finally get it done. I don't think you can. I think you're just like,
Yeah.
you're like just done. You plant your flag at the top of the mountain. You're just like, I did it. Okay, it's done.
Even
And then
his reaction right now is just like,
down.
did we just do that? He just like, oh my God. It
I
was
was
good.
so sad that I missed this. I was streaming when it happened, and I probably spent about 20, 30 hours watching him do this boss every night that I could when he was on, and I wanted to see it so bad live. I was like, I missed the Bashi and Solgren. I have to see this one. And motherfucker, did it when I was live, damn it. I mean, no, but it had to be done, so.
Yeah.
Watching that highlight, I've never wanted to see chat on the screen more than I do right now.
Chat flipped out. He got, I think there was like at least 100 subs that came in like after he won, and it was pretty nuts. It was pretty nuts. He got a ton of donations too, and it was definitely an awesome moment on Twitch for sure. And I think man will probably never forget that because of how much fucking time he spent on that boss. So
I mean, look at him. There's no look of elation. There's no look of like there's barely like you can barely muster a smile. It's just like
yeah.
I did it.
He was very emotional about that.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard or checked out Future Man Gaming? Have you heard of this stream?
Oh yeah.
I've heard that name.
Yeah. So this guy, I think he started out with like less than 500 followers last week, or maybe the week before that. He's at 12K now. He's just been blowing up on his channel. His thing is, it is a weird channel for sure. Like he does some crazy stuff. I'll show a little bit of his production here.
I sat there and watched him. Well, actually, I didn't. I watched the most was when he had a DJ on, and him and a DJ friend were just they were playing music, and the guy was doing like beats live and stuff like that. And it was like, it's like colorful background that he always has, and he had the quasi futuristic outfit on with the visor glasses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's a nut bar, and I can totally like relate to that. Like he's got his own thing. He'd be one of those cats that I'd be like, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him at Burning Man or something like that, and he's just partying all night long.
Sure. He 100% has a gimmick, and I say that with the least amount of negative connotation to it. But it works for his cast, and so far he's doing pretty amazing. I think he's gotten on front page a lot recently. I think Twitch has been pushing him pretty strong, and you could see his numbers reflect that. But definitely check it out in the future because it is it's an interesting stream to say the least. And
So does he play games?
Yes, he does play games. Yeah. He does. There we go.
I love that jumpsuit thing he's wearing in that donation picture with the keyboard. I don't know if that's him, but
yeah, no, that's him.
His like the backstory of him is like he's from the future, and he has to come back and play these video games and that kind of stuff. Like that's his ship that he's sitting in right now, and his ship talks to him and stuff like that. It's very like 80s awesome, like Flight of the Navigator kind of shit. It's really cool.
It's an interesting thing. He's got a lot of production in there, tons of different like voice effects, and probably a billion scenes and obs from what I can tell, or XSplit. I don't know what the hell he's using, but it's an interesting stream to watch for sure. Definitely check it out if you have a sec.
I got him followed. I'll check him out next time he's on. Looks fun.
There you go. Anything else you guys have been watching? I'm trying to think back to what all I've been watching. I was watching Summit last night. He didn't need viewers though, so we don't even need to talk about him. He's playing some Battle Royale.
I've been watching some Alaskan Savage. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
No, tell me about him.
He's a very late night streamer, so very early mornings. He's from Alaska, and that's kind of one of his like shticks. He plays just whatever he wants. Very, very chat interactive. Super, super nice guy, and definitely brings like tons of energy to his cast. Very entertaining. Definitely worth checking out if you're up late at night.
Ooh, I like the mustache. He's got a strong mustache.
Oh gosh, got a Bill the Butcher mustache going on there.
Strong mustache on Alaskan Savage.
He's in the channel actually too right now, I believe.
Well, there you go.
He's hanging out.
There you go. Click his name, give him a follow, guys. Check him out.
Do you ever feel bad for not already have been following somebody?
Yes.
All the time.
I feel bad for not having been subbed to someone came into my channel today and was like 6-month anniversary sub, and I'm like, fuck. I have to like sub in the middle of the night when no one's watching, and then like wait a couple months and be like, yeah, man, I've been subbed for a long time.
It's kind of funny you say that. I actually have on a few of my favorite streams that, for some reason or another I didn't sub to for a month. I've got that little like, show your 2-month dedication message at the top. And I'm like, so how do I just clear this message and not display it? Like, I don't, I just want to get that off my chat, but I don't really want to, yay, so.
Yeah, I'm in the same.
I had a credit card expire, or not expire, get stolen.
Of
course, it's like 2 days before all my Twitch stuff went through because I line up a lot of dates. So like all of my subs broke, and I just didn't go back and do a lot of them. So it messed everything up.
That's usually my excuse too.
It's a good excuse, isn't it?
It works pretty much most of the time. Zeke, you've been
It works every time.
exactly. Zeke, you've been watching anyone in particular? Just the norms?
Yeah, you guys are, already said the Sarkoolite show. Checked out Future Man Gaming. Maybe this is a topic for after we come back, but I was checking out the Kyle Landry piano, right?
Yeah.
Checking him out. It's still up there, but it's not as hype as it was. Do you think there's and that's why I brought it up with Future Man Gaming too. Do you think there's a limit for like hype as far as that goes?
I mean, I think that again, to use the word gimmick in the least negative way possible, I think that gimmicks have a place on Twitch. I think that people will just inherently lose interest over time with them, and that's just kind of how it's going to always be. Okay. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, I'm glad that we have a stream like Kyle Landry, and I'm glad that we have a stream like Future Man Gaming. I think they do things that no one else is doing right now on Twitch, and if they can keep the viewership up with how much, or with what it's been as of late, then more power to them. And if not, hey, it's a huge bump, and they're going to continue probably doing what they're going to be doing and grow more in the future. Like, I think that gimmicks have a place on Twitch, but it's not necessarily the best way to have sustainability.
See, and that's what I'm scared of on my own channel.
I think it's a little bit different, though, when you're talking about somebody like Future Man Gaming and Kyle, because his kind of hype comes from a viewer base that he already has in existence, almost, because
YouTube.
He's coming. If you go and look at his YouTube, he's got 350,000 subscribers.
Yeah, he's been. Yeah.
Okay.
He's seen success is maybe the best way to say
exactly.
it. Yeah.
So when he's coming over to a new platform, everybody on the Twitch platform is going to go check him out initially. The hype's going to be there. It's going to be like Twitch Plays Pokemon, or another good example, Tay Zonde, when he came on over. He's going to bring that huge interest. People are going to go check him out. He's going to taper off. They're going to taper off, and it's going to go down to a point to where they have a community, and what's left is going to be their community. Whereas Future Man Gaming, the hype that he has, it's more of like a rising hype, to where he's building his community up from that hype, not
That's
down
true.
from it.
That's a good point. That's actually a great point, yeah. Where I think that Future Man's gaming gimmick is he still plays games, so it's a little bit different than Kyle, yeah. I 100% agree with that. But yeah, definitely check out all those streams. Anyone else? I didn't ask you, but anyone else you've been watching outside the norm?
It's been a lot of time in my team, watching a lot of Daisy from Clam Taco. Poultrygeist has been doing some fun stuff. Recently, he's doing some playthroughs that I've been actually finding myself idling on while doing messages and stuff. It's really about it. Chris, been hanging out a lot at Chris's stream, and Fuzzy Freaks. Yep, all great streamers, and having a really good time with that. But not too much outside that.
Those are all
been watching a lot
members?
of Game with Dark Souls, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's about...
Cool. All right, well, let's take... Wheat, Future Man Gaming isn't a gimmick. He's actually from the future. I'm sorry, Wheat. You're right. He's trying to save us all with his nice moves.
Wheat's coming to the drop frames in PAX East.
Yes, Wheat will be on the panel. He's going to be our first Twitch person on the show. I don't know why that's a thing, but we're going to make that a thing, I guess. But yeah, he'll be on the panel on Sunday next week. So, all right, why don't we take a break? We'll come back and we'll talk about the news. We've got some updates on the G2A stuff that we were talking about with Sacriel when he was on the show 2 episodes ago. We'll talk about some of the other stuff that's going on with that, and then we'll jump into our topic of the week, which is going to be TwitchCon. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back, guys. More drop frames coming up right after this. We'll see you guys in a sec.